Terrifier 2 is definitely a movie that was made. I mean, that's all I can say. I can't think of any other way to say that. Resurrected by a sinister entity, Art the Clown returns to Mouse County to terrorize a teenage girl and her younger brother on a Halloween night. I mean, that's about it. There's a killer clown out on the loose, brutally murdering people. There's really nothing else to it. And the worst part about it is, he doesn't say a single word the entire time he's doing it. So, say what you want, but I find that kind of interesting. This is one of those films that you don't care for the story, you just want to see blood, guts, violence, and all kinds of other violence in this movie. It's just one of those films. It doesn't need to have a good story, you just want to watch it for some kind of enjoyment. I saw the first film a few years ago, and I completely forgot that one, this film existed, like this series existed, and then I also forgot that they were even going to make a second movie. To be honest with you, I didn't know that they were going to make a second movie, period. But the second I saw that they were making a second movie, yeah, I had to go watch it. The release date also kind of snuck up on me because I'll be completely honest with you. I heard or saw no kind of marketing for this movie whatsoever. I don't know if they were just doing a really bad job or if I just, didn't come across anything. But the one thing that I did see that I'm sure most people have saw it too is there was this post circling around the internet that this movie is making people pass out in the theaters. So, when I saw that, I immediately thought, this movie's great. Like, if people are passing out in the theaters, one, either people are exaggerating, or two, this movie's just that gory. And of course, no, people aren't exaggerating. I mean, of course, I didn't pass out or anything like that because I like horror, I like blood and guts. But I can honestly see how people are passing out watching this movie. Because when I say that some of the deaths and, all the other kills in this movie are extreme, they're pretty extreme. So if you were to put Art the Clown and then you were to grab Michael Myers and put them in the same room, Art the Clown's taking that W. I'm sorry, but Michael Myers, you're taking that L. Michael Myers holds nothing against Art the Clown. And I mean that. I really do mean that. If these two were to go at it, Art the Clown is taking the W. And it's funny because, Michael Myers is supposed to be this, very dangerous killer. And everyone knows who he is. But this clown, Art the Clown, he's on a whole nother level. Like, there's literally a scene of Art the Clown murdering this person in their bedroom for 10 minutes straight. It was probably more than 10 minutes, but he's just in there just murdering her. And I was even like, oh my gosh, dude, like, cut away to a different scene. This is this is a bit ridiculous, but it was so, this is gonna make me look so bad when I say this, but it was so interesting to see what he was doing and why he was doing it. So in this film, they tried to be a bit different from the first one. In the first film, they focus on two main people, and they were walking home. They were walking back to their car on Halloween night, and they ended up getting a flat tire, and they end up seeing Art the Clown, and he's like, making these weird faces and stuff at them. So they end up leaving, and then they're trying to find a ride back home, and Art starts chasing them down. That's basically the story of the first movie. There is no other underlying story. It's just a clown going after two girls. That's the story. I mean, that's all you need, honestly. It's just a dude going around killing people. Let's be real here. So that's how the first film plays out. The second film is a bit different. I mean, yeah, sure, this clown is still out murdering people, but he's going after a family this time, and it kind of somewhat seems like he has a purpose. I mean, not really, but it was fun to watch, so I give it a pass for not really having a great story. Like, you can really tell in this film they had a way bigger budget because they're in lots of different locations. They're doing all kinds of brutal kills and stuff. And it's like, yeah, they had a pretty big budget compared to the first film. And like I said, it really does show. So when you watch this movie, I highly recommend watching the first Terrifier and then watching this one and compare the two, and you can really see the difference in them. So I would like to talk about the story in this film, but if I'm being completely honest with you, there is no story. Like, and I'm not even exaggerating. There are there's some scenes where they try to bring in some story into it, but it doesn't matter. I mean, it really doesn't matter. This movie is literally just about a guy in a clown outfit killing people. I mean, that's it. He's like this insane dude running around murdering people. There's no purpose. He doesn't have a purpose or anything. He doesn't talk the entire time. Like, he's silent. So you get nothing from him. He's seeing this other person in his head, because in the first film, you know, without spoiling anything, something ends up happening to where, you know, he ends up not being right in the head. So now he's starting to see someone in his head, and that's not really explained either, but kind of, sort of is, if that makes sense. So if I'm being honest with you, if you want to give this film a story, just make it about a psycho man running around murdering people because he's crazy. I mean, that's a better explanation than what they end up giving you in the actual film. So that's what I would go off of. I mean, there's not even much to say about the characters either. They're forgettable. You don't really care. You don't care why they're there. You just, again, it just goes back to wanting to just see a lot of kills and stuff. You have the older sister. She's seeing this clown in her dreams, and he's able to make things happen in the real world from her dreams. That's another thing. That's never really explained how he was able to do that, or why she's even connected to this clown. Who freaking knows? They try to say one thing where he's connected to their family, but it makes it seem like it's their dad, but it's not their dad. It's a weird thing that they do with it. Then you have the little brother, who's a little brother. He's in school. He sees Art the Clown in his hallway, and maybe he also sees the other girl too. I don't think he sees the other person who's in Art's head, but he ends up seeing Art the Clown in his school, and Art like kills this animal and throws it at him. Eventually, he ends up getting in trouble for that. They make it seem like he did it, but I guess they don't really see the clown there or something. I'm not sure. I guess not all schools have cameras, but they think he did everything, and he gets in trouble for it. That's all you really need to know about this kid. So one thing that really confuses me about this is with this clown, with Art the Clown, like I mentioned, he's messed up in the head. So he starts to see this extra person in his head, but in this movie, they make it seem like the other characters can also see this person who's in his head. So now you're stuck with, is that person really in his head, or are they actually there? Because there are some scenes where this person is talking to someone else on the phone, and they're able to hear clearly that it's another person. So I'm not sure what they're trying to say with that, if they're just trying to say that this is another person, or this is some kind of spirit that's able to take over things, but they don't really explain if she's a physical person or if she's just in his head. Because if she's in his head, okay, cool, but how were other people able to see her if that's the case? They don't really explain that. I don't know, that's just one thing that kind of bothered me a little bit. And I watched this film 2 times to make sure I didn't miss anything. Actually, no, I watched it 3 times actually, and it actually doesn't explain it. I mean, this movie does some things right. It makes you uncomfortable. There's a lot of blood. There's a lot of gore. If you're into something like that, you're gonna love this film. If you just want to watch something that's bloody and gory, this is your film. You're gonna enjoy every bit of it, especially after that disappointing Halloween ends. This film really just like steps all over that, because this film is the better Michael Myers film. And if you're afraid of clowns, I'll be completely honest with you. I would not watch this movie. Don't watch this movie. Do not watch the first movie, especially if you're afraid of clowns, because it's gonna make you look at them even differently, and I'm sure you don't want that. If I'm being honest with you, it's creepy. It creeped me out. A lot of scenes. There's a lot of scenes in here where he's just staring at the camera or staring at people, and he does nothing. Like, he's just staring, and I was getting a little creeped out. I don't normally get creeped out, so I can't even imagine how someone who's actually afraid of clowns would feel watching this movie. But I mean, it was a fun film, you know, especially for like a Halloween night or something like that, or you want to get together with some friends and watch some scary movies. This would be a good film to put on. So would I recommend you watching this film? Absolutely. Unless you have a really weak stomach or like a weak heart or something, don't watch this film. Don't watch this film. And also, if you're afraid of clowns, don't put it on. So if you like what you're seeing and you want to see more content, please hit the like button down below. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. It'll really help out the channel. I'm slowly rising up there with the viewers and subscribers. That's kind of good, right? So, you know, I'll see you guys next time.